Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, ladies, good morning, good morning. Happy day 9 and Saturday. Hope you guys. And thank you for accommodating me for the 9 a.m. I had a schedule conflict that came up that it could not be avoided. So I didn't want to be trying to drive around and I had someone with me that I had to get them somewhere and I just knew it was going to be a hot mess. So here we are at 9 a.m. All right, ladies. We'll give it another minute or so to see if anybody jumps on and to encourage you to have your water with you for our call today. So how many of you actually have water with you? Either water or coffee?
I'm getting the water.
Okay,
We get it now.
Yep, I got coffee and water.
great. Awesome. Hey, Carol Cox, are you at home today?
Yes, I have tea and water.
Okay, awesome. I've had 2 full, robust cups of coffee, and I feel like I'm on top of the world right now. So it's pretty awesome. All right. All right. Well, ladies, so we are on day 9. And one of the things that I want to go over is what comes next for us. So we know that around day 11, we start to switch over to the second or the next phase, which is called Next 12. So we're going to go over that. We're going to find out what kind of decision we'll be facing in the next couple of days and go ahead and make a plan for that. But we are going to go ahead and check in. And I'm going to check in first today because yesterday we were at the Aspire Johnson County conference or workshop, and it was a reminder to me of how important it is to plan ahead and to always have some backup fruit, some backup food with you if at all possible. And so my day started out great, but when it came time for the afternoon, I realized that I did not have my afternoon fruit with me. So, and everything that they were serving at the event, there was not a piece of fruit in sight. So there were literally no options. It was all sugary, brownies and things like that, little pretzel bites, everything that we don't want to be eating right now. And so I ended up skipping that meal. So that automatically knocks me down to a 3 on the scale. And then of course, because I didn't eat that, I was super hungry. I do have some victories in the sense that after we had the conference, my husband and kiddo were out of town for Mackenzie's at state senior state competition, even though she's not a senior. They're up in Elkhart, Indiana. So I'm by myself this weekend. And whenever I'm alone, I have a habit of going to this little authentic Japanese place that's on Madison in Greenwood. So I went and I had my protein and my vegetables. I didn't eat the rice, so I did good there. And then I had kind of an emergency happen at the building, and so I had to go take care of that. So by the time I got home, it was about 8:30, and I just had to have some. I could feel that I was missing that fruit. And so I ended up having a couple of boiled eggs. I didn't eat anything egregious, but I did get off plan. And so I jumped off plan. So I would give myself a 1 because I did jump off plan and I didn't follow it. But I would say that the difference between now and what I would have done 5 years ago is completely different. I would have gone for, I would have gone for chocolate, or I would have gone for, some cup, whatever was in the refrigerator or cabinet. And so I'm telling you that, and I'm just being really transparent about that, because as you go through these cycles and your body starts getting to you eating this way, that there will be some checkpoints within you that develop. And at some point, you're going to get really good at saying, okay, I'm jumping off plan, but I'm cheating with healthy things like, boiled eggs or whatever. And it's great that you can switch over, that you've got the strength to say, I'm not going for those sugary snacks. I'm not going for the chips. I'm not going for those. And that's a goal. That's a goal to achieve at some point during this journey, to where you're always giving yourself, no matter what shape you're in or what your situation is, you're always trying to give yourself something healthy. And I admit that there have been times when I didn't always make the healthy choices. I would stop for ice cream, or I love brownies. And so that's where some of the reframing comes in, like there's a little bit of doo-doo in those brownies, or I'm not having those badonkadonk ones, Amanda Gleason's favorite saying. So I'm putting that out there and paving the way for you to share where you are in your journey today. So let's start with Amanda Gleason, since you were at the conference with me yesterday.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
I did fine at the conference. I did have a soda, diet soda, so that's definitely not on plan, but I ate on plan while I was there. I attribute to being able to resist the afternoon goodies they put out. I did have half of a protein bar before I came to the conference, just knowing I would probably be hungry.
Yeah.
Again, not on plan, but I think it helped me to stay away from the sweets. So I just felt sated, like I wasn't really hungry. I had my lunch and it was enough. But last night while I was watching a movie, I had a bag of popcorn. So there we go. So I'm probably a 1 because of that, even though I did a good job and planned initially. The night is always a hard time for me. I think most people probably have the same thing. And so I paid for it, so up a couple ounces this morning, but
yeah, I mean, and it's about comforting ourselves when we come in from a day full of adventure and full of events. We want to sit down and relax, and we've basically been taught that. We've been taught that food helps to relax you and helps you to transition, and it's comforting. Yeah, so we put that on like a nice cozy blanket, don't we? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and check in with Carol.
Well, I'm glad that you confessed, because I got to tell you, I thought I had planned, but then things went south right after the mandarin oranges, because I thought I was going to get lunch. No, did not get lunch. Did not get the afternoon snack.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
I mean, until I got home, and I didn't eat until almost 9 o'clock. So
Wow.
it was like water and everything, but I have to say, I failed. I ate chocolate. There was we got a lady in the office, she's got really good dark chocolate. So I had like 3 of those, but it was like one here, one here. It was like for each of the missed meals. So it was like, I did not do well today. And I was like, what is going on? But the thing about it is, when everything just starts to pack up and you think you have that time and you can stop, I couldn't stop. It was like I literally had to finish, but I did water. Water was good. I did that yesterday very well. So I give myself kudos on that, but I am a 1 myself, but only water makes me a 3.
Yeah, and
I think.
this is, these are good examples of how the way that we have this first phase structured, where you're eating about every 3 hours, one reason why it's every 3 hours, because that's just about the time that you start to realize that you're hungry. And that you do need what's coming next. And so when we skip that, it really is a huge gap. And our body says, what are you doing? Right? What are you doing? And our body goes into survival mode. That's exactly what happens. And so it's almost uncontrollable from an emotional standpoint. Like, I'm in survival mode. Oh my gosh. And it's like your body is screaming to get something in it. And it takes extraordinary fortitude to overcome that. And that's why we eat every 3 hours, because it gives us a fighting chance. All right. Thanks, Carol. All right. So let's check in with Peggy.
I've been doing badunkadunk.
You've been doing what? The badunkabunk? What?
Yeah, as you said, with the brownies, there's badunkadunk in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I'm doing without the brownies, just badunkadunk. Yeah, I'm just doing so bad, but it's like I'm doing great with exercise. I go to the pool and exercise. I'm walking with my friend. So, but when it comes to eating, especially in the evenings, it's like I'm hungry and I don't have nothing prepared. So I just like, I don't know. I'm just like all in the refrigerator, standing with the door open, cabinets open, and just grabbing stuff. Then when
Yeah.
I grab it good, then I have to grab it, some more of it. And it's like I just can't get enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And preparation is key to that. I mean, I'll tell you what, I am so glad that I took some time this week to cut up some celery and to, just to have some cut up fruit, because can we all see ourselves standing there at the pantry in their fridge? Like, okay, what can I eat? And when you have something prepared, I mean, even when you have something prepared, it's challenging enough to say, man, do I really want celery right now? What I'd really like to have is a big juicy cheeseburger or or whatever. And when you feel those uncontrollable urges, when you have a plan, the way to get your sanity, the way to practice first aid is get salt immediately. Get salt immediately, put it on your tongue. Either that or get a pickle and let it just set in your tongue and kind of numb. Vinegar tends to numb your taste buds to allow you to just take a breath and say, okay, what am I doing right now? The salt's the best for that. Pickle is, it's the next best thing.
Yeah, my mind's not thinking salt.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go ahead and check in with Irma.
Okay, ladies, I'm going to give myself a 4 only because I had to flip-flop my meals. I'm on plan. I am traveling. I brought my food, but I'm having to flip-flop either the breakfast meal with the lunch or whatever. But it was good. I was thinking that I would just do 3 out of the 4, but my husband, he didn't want to go to a restaurant. He was happy with Subway, so that kept me on plan. Now today, the game times is probably going to get me. I know, not probably. The game plans will time will get me off plan for my last meal. So,
Yeah.
But I am very, I'm going to say it, very proud of myself that I brought my food. The hotel has a microwave, and all I have to do is warm it up. So,
Very good.
I'm hoping when I get back home tomorrow, well, Monday morning, that the scale reflects my dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but way to hang in there. You get the gold star today. All right, let's check in with Cookie. You sound so delicious.
Right.
I know it, right? Well, I am going to give myself, I don't know what I'm going to give myself because I did great all day long. So I would say a 5, but then uh, at some point last night when my husband was eating, I got hungry and I thought about the salt, but then there was the club crackers on the counter.
Yeah.
And I just took 2 and I ate it. And I said, well, 2 should be okay. But then when I read the label, it said 4 crackers per serving size. So I had 2 more. And then, I kind of had kind of a restless night. I thought, oh my God, this is literally the first time I cheated, and I felt bad about it.
Yeah.
So, I'm one, maybe I don't know, because yeah, I did. I had 4 of those club multi-grain crackers yesterday, last night.
Okay. Well, thank you for your confession. Everyone is forgiven of their food fighter sins, and we're going to move forward today in repentance. And we're going to be back on track today. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to take a look at moving forward. And let me get over here. So what we're going to go ahead and plan for is next 12. We're not going to dwell on all of our mistakes and get into a deeper pit of where we were yesterday. So what we are going to do though is we are going to think about what's coming up. So this is day 9, tomorrow's day 10, and then Monday is day 11. You're going to have to come to a decision point here. And I usually base it on a couple of things. First of all, I base it on the deciding factors include, are you in plateau right now? Because if you are in plateau, and on day 11, if you are on plateau, the next day you're going to go into the next phase, because that will help break up your plateau. I mean, even on day 11, you could go on to the next phase if you wanted to go ahead and break it up. The other deciding factor about whether you're going to stay or not is if you have really been struggling with this first phase. If you just find like every day you're struggling, or most days you're struggling to stay on plan, go ahead and go to the next one. Because when you do that, something's going to happen in your brain where you're like, okay, I'm going to a new phase, clean slate, and we're going to move forward now. So those 2 factors are really the deciding factors. Now, let's say that you are still actively dropping. You want to ride that wave on day 11. You want to keep going until you really hit plateau, until you've had 2 days, where you weigh in at the same weight. And when you've had 2 days of weighing in at that same weight, then you can go ahead and jump into next 12. You don't have to wait for that. I mean, you could go to next 12 if you want to, but if you are really trying to maximize the plan, that's the way to do it. So here's what the changes are. Let's talk about the 5 rules to remember. Meat, fat, and veggies, they are all friends. They're all friends. Fat and fruit are enemies. So, like, when I think about fat content, I'm not talking about sugary snacks. I'm still talking about the healthy foods that we have on our planet. If you eat a steak and a piece of fruit together, those are enemies. If you have eggs and fruit, in the morning, those are enemies. They are going to fight against you. They're going to prevent you from dropping pounds if that's your goal. All right. So, and they will even cause it to jump up on the scales. You will see an upward trajectory of the scale when you put these two things together. So it's really, really important to keep those things separated. Now, fruit and veggies are frenemies when you're trying to drop weight. I mean, you see people all the time, they create salads and they put some fruit in there. Well, that's awesome if you are already at the ideal weight that you want to be, because that's going to have a neutral effect. It's not going to impact you one way or another. Good, healthy foods, but the combination makes all the difference. It's a chemical reaction that they have with each other. And our goal, remember, is to keep things simple for our bodies. So you want to keep those fruit and those veggies apart if you're actively trying to drop weight. Rule of thumb, when you add more fat, cut the fruit down or out in your diet. You know, and we think about this a day at a time, okay? And even a meal at a time. We want to keep the fat and the fruit far apart from each other. We're still doing the 4 meal times. That's still in effect right now. But you definitely don't want to have that fruit. If you're doing fruit, then just keep it to a minimum. And also, well, we're still able to do fruit, but let's say that you're adding eggs with the yolks in it into your day, and then you're having more fatty meats like sausages or the steaks, for example. Beef tends to have a lot more fat than chicken. Well, you may want to maximize that by maybe your fruit is one of the berries, the strawberries, the blueberries, the blackberries, for example. Those are fewer in calories, but they also are less likely to react to the additional fat that you're introducing to your diet. The other thing is, don't do all beef every day. That's hard on your heart. Because beef is good for you. My body responds super well to beef, but I also know that I cannot eat it every day. If you consistently eat meat every day or beef every day and high fat meats, you will up your cholesterol. So we just need to be mindful of that, and it will clog all your arteries up. So here are new foods that we'll be able to integrate: beef, all fish, seafood, of course, nothing fried. We can have turkey sausage, turkey bacon. We can have sauerkraut. So one of my faves is the skinless turkey sausage from Eckrich with sauerkraut. Yum, yum, yum. I love it. It's really good. You can also introduce zucchini. So it's a little bit more of a starchy vegetable, but it's not so starchy. I mean, it's like a medium. We can still get away with it. You can start to introduce cottage cheese, but if you're going to introduce cottage cheese, you'll want to use it as a fruit replacement. Okay. So that means if you want to, and we find this is where we start to find out a little bit more about environmental allergies or intolerances. So you'll know really quick if you've got a dairy intolerance if you do cottage cheese, and you're doing it. Let's say that you're doing cottage cheese one afternoon. You'll know within about 30 minutes if your body is saying, "Yuck, I don't like that. It's not jiving with me." So pay attention to that, and if you get that memo, then you probably want to stave off on dairy. You can also have a teaspoon of half and half per day. Pickles galore. I retract that, because no, it's not pickles galore, not unlimited pickles. We still want to be mindful of moderation. You can introduce mayonnaise, tartar sauce, dressing per day. I do recommend that you get the sugarless. There's a sugarless brand of like vinaigrette out there that's great for you. You want to limit the sugar content. I've just discovered that anytime I introduce anything that has sugar in it, my body's like, it's like a crying baby, a crying 2-year-old. I want more sugar. So I have to completely just swear it off. You can also, for those of you that are doing the 60-day plan and you aren't already doing this, you can have 2 Grassinis or 3 mini Melba toasts. It says Glutino brand, but we also have a couple of other brands that we've mentioned. I think Catherine put a picture of the Grassinis in our Facebook group. So notice that we still have some things off limits here. We want to stay away from pork. Pork is a Russian roulette with all of our bodies. Some of us get inflamed eating that right away. Hot dogs, bananas, watermelon, corn, yams, potatoes, mushrooms, carrots are off limits. So carrots, squash, pasta, yeast, wheat, bread, and tortillas. Those are all off limits. Okay, so I want to open it up real quick for any questions or thoughts or comments.
I'm glad beef is on there.
Yes, me too. I love beef
So
And mayonnaise.
and mayonnaise. Yeah.
can we have dark meat chicken, or dark meat is in the next phase?
You can have dark meat. Yeah, you can have dark.
Okay.
Yeah, chicken thighs.
And our fruits are blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, 2 cups.
Yeah, you can still have the other fruits. You can still have the other fruits, but just be mindful that as you're adding more fatty meats in, that you definitely want to stick to the 3 hours in between meals so that those don't run into each other. And if you want to maximize your weight loss even more, you can make that fruit one of the berries because it's fewer calories. So you're actually adding more calories to the fat. But this is about chemical reaction between the foods. Peggy, did you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or questions?
Looking forward to the beef.
Yep. Where's the beef? It's going to be in my refrigerator later today when I go to the store. Planning is your friend. Planning is your friend. Planning is your friend. Planning is what keeps you out of trouble 90% of the time. So plan your trip to the store. If you've not been planning, I recommend that you get to the store today and go ahead and write out what you're going to do. You can use the planner in the back of your electronic guidebook to help you plan. All right. And if you want to be even more accountable, post what you're doing in our Facebook group. You can share pictures of your food just to show everybody different options. All right, ladies, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.